Hey, everybody. It is 6:30 and welcome everybody to the Healthy Together Time and the 90-day Show Up Challenge webinar. We are 6 weeks into the Show Up Challenge, and how are you guys doing? Are you guys showing up for yourself? And best case scenario, come on live to this Wednesday webinar with your camera on. And we have found that all of us that are present, we get more out of it when we do this. But we get it. Sometimes you guys have to use the playbacks, and that's cool too. So make sure you mark your tracker. And did you check in with your buddy this week? Put in the chat below if you did. And if not, it's not too late. If you're a coach, did you guys attend the coach trainings that were this week? And ask the coach who invited you to the challenge if you are curious and want to attend a coach training for next week. So I am going to go over real quick the 4 components. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jen Walker, and these are the 4 components of our system. And we have the first, I'll mention that it's like 4 legs of a chair. If you don't utilize all 4 legs of the chair, it's not very stable. So everyone gets a coach or an accountability buddy, and coaches are working on themselves too. So the second is our Habits of Health transformational system. Our Habits of Health transformational system is key because your body will typically match up to where your mindset is. So this is where you do the mindset work. And number 3 is our Optavia community. You're participating in that right now on this webinar. And you are not alone in your pursuit of optimal health, and your chances of success increase when you plug into our community. And 4, scientifically designed fuelings, balance blood sugar, reduce cravings, reduce decision fatigue, that's a real thing, and simplify the process of creating new habits. We specialize in nutrition and muscle protection with nothing artificial. So to start off tonight, I am so dang excited. Last weekend, we as a Healthy Together community got together in Midway, Utah. There were about 125 of us, and it was an event full of inspiration. So to end the weekend, we took a small hike up Memorial Hill, and at the top of the hike, we had a special highlight from our friend Tara Wagley, who will be giving you guys a really fun, inspiring analogy. Like, it's so good. You guys are going to love it. So listen up, and we'll kick off tonight with Tara. And you guys, if you can, watch this visually. It's really cool. So welcome, Tara.
Thank you so much, Jen, for asking me to share tonight. And I hope that you guys are able to get out of this what we were able to convey on the end of our hike at the retreat. But I love rocks and all things rocks. And so when I was asked to present, I was like, oh, I have a cool way that we could show this. And so a few years ago for Mother's Day, my family got me a rock tumbler. And it came with a bunch of raw rocks. Like, this is Dalmatian jasper, this is sodalite, and this is tiger's eye. And they're 3 of my favorites that came with the kit, but they're really bumpy and sharp and have some hard edges, and they're not very shiny. It's kind of dull. And I got so excited. I opened up the package and I was like, sweet, I'm going to put this in the tumbler and I'm going to have like beautiful, shiny, polished rocks in like 3 days. And then I read the instructions and I realized there were 5 different levels of grit that these rocks had to go through. And each level of grit, you had to be in, they had to tumble in there for 7 to 10 days at least, depending on how perfectly smooth and perfectly shiny I wanted the rocks to come out at the end. And so the first grit, I opened it up and I spilled it a little bit. Oh, thanks, Steph, you're so kind. I spilled the grit and I was like feeling it, and it was so rough. Like, it would tear your skin if you were to rub it in between your hands like this. And it just made me think, like, wow, this is some pretty tough grit. Like, it is going to work really hard to knock off these really sharp, pointy edges. And it has to be that way in order for it to work. And so I started my tumbler, and then I realized this is going to take a long time. So 5 different grits for 10 days apiece. That is 50 days that these rocks have to tumble for 24 hours a day. That is 1,200 hours of tumbling, of refining, of smoothing out the rough edges in order for this raw piece that's kind of dull of Dalmatian jasper to become this beautiful, shiny, smooth piece that I just dropped. But 1,200 hours. Sometimes we want to put our rocks in the tumbler and have them come out in 3 days and be perfectly finished. Sometimes we start a health program or a 90-day challenge and we eat a salad and we're like, awesome. Why can't I look perfect? I ate a salad. I should be a size 6 by now, right? Like I ate one. The biggest part of this entire process, I think, is the mental work that we do to help unlearn those bad habits that we've had, things like that. And so we read one element in the life book, we attend one personal development class, and we think, okay, I'm good. I have got this. I am mentally stable. I am mentally healthy. I can do all the things now. And it takes time. Give yourself grace. Do not expect perfection overnight. A 90-day challenge, 90 days seems like a long time when you think about it. We are halfway there already. Like, give yourself time to work on these micro habits, these little things. This is obsidian. This is a large raw piece of obsidian. There are some beautiful shiny parts. There are some dull, flat, ugly parts. There are some really, really sharp edges on this. Obsidian is the rock. It is volcanic glass rock, and they make arrowheads from it. In fact, you can sharpen the edge of obsidian better than you can steel. They've used this for surgeries. Obsidian was like people's livelihoods. They were able to hunt their food for their families so that they could eat them, have something to eat that night. But it's not necessarily something you would see and be like, ooh, I want that in my life. Look at that dull, flat, ugly piece right there. I need that in my life. This is obsidian after it has gone through that intense refining, polishing, smoothing process. If you can't see it, if you're listening, this is gorgeous, smooth. The light reflects off it perfectly. There are no imperfections in this thing. This is perfectly beautiful on the outside. I don't dare crack it open and see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, this is what I thought I wanted when I joined the program. I thought all my value lied in what people could see on the outside. Little did I know that what I really needed to work on was the inside, so that my insides could match my outside. This rock is a geode, straight out of the Dugway geode beds. It's bumpy, it's hard, it's got raw edges. If you tripped and fell, this is gonna take out your knee. It's gonna hurt. It's not comfortable to hold on this side. But guess what? If you picked up this rock, you would have no clue that this bumpy, ugly, hard out exterior held this beautiful, gorgeous, full of crystals and light and shine on the inside. Our outsides could be a big mess. Sometimes we need to work on the inside. And that's what I've been working on the most lately, is this inside heart. So what happens when our outside and our insides meet? Meet my favorite rock. This is labradorite. In this form, in her raw form, you can't really tell the light that she's shining, that she has within. There's some shiny parts poking through there. She's not smooth, she's really rough, she's kind of homely, but it is the rock that I am continuously drawn to because she holds magic. When you take the time to focus on your outer healthy physical body, and you take the time to invest in your life book, to go to personal development things, to listen to podcasts so that you can help heal the inside, that's where beauty comes. This rock is also this rock. This polished piece of labradorite, can you see her flash? Can you see the shine really coming through right there? There's amazing, amazing beauty that holds within. She's not perfect. She's oddly shaped. She is unique. She is not like that sphere, right? She's got some points. She even has a few dings and cracks in the side here. This is me. This is us, right? You don't have to be perfect, smooth, gorgeous, no cracks, no imperfections for people to love you. You can be this ugly toad of a rock for people to love you. It's when you take the time to know someone's before, when you take the time to know them in this raw stage, that you can see when this comes out and you're like, holy crap, how did you get there? What did you do? It's all about grit and time, my friends. You have to allow time for this to happen. My friend Kayla Mackay said, this would happen in nature. It might take millions of years for this rock to become polished like this in nature, right? A raw stone in a riverbed is going to naturally become polished and become smoother. Optavia is our tumbler. It's going to help speed up that process so that we don't have to go through 2,000 hours of grit. Maybe only 1,200. Maybe you're on hour 60 of your 1,200 hour process and you're not feeling so fantastic. But if people didn't know you in this raw, sharp, hard part, they can't appreciate the beauty that comes from it when you're smoothed out. There's power in our stories. There's power in our journey. And that's where this raw form becomes beautiful. There are no shortcuts. We have to take the time to do the work. But I'm telling you, when you do take the time to do the work, your inner light is going to shine and it's going to be beautiful. And it is going to attract the people that you personally need to help. Thank you, Jen.
Hey, told you. She's like absolutely amazing. And grit is necessary to polish us. I love it. I love all of it. Like there were so many points that I'm going to bring out in the next part of what I'm going to speak about. So we're talking about grit and growth today. Maybe. Okay. So if you guys could choose to be gritty, would you? Put a 1 in the chat. A person with true grit has passion and perseverance. Goals are followed through. And can you guys think of anybody who has been gifted in music or sports or vocationally? Do you guys ever think that they were just born with it? Because I know I've thought that before. And why do we assume that it's our talent rather than our effort that will give us success? Have you guys ever thought that people are just talented in the health and wellness category? Before I found this program, I legit thought that the amount of fat on a person was due to genetics and exercise. I had so much to learn. And you've all heard that the people you hang out with, you become like. Well, I wanted to invite our healthy community to take on the characteristic of grit. Let's be gritty together. So I love how this talks about this quote I'll be reading about meaningful goals. So grit is passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals. It is the ability to persist in something you feel passionate about and persevere when you face obstacles. This kind of passion is not about intense emotions or infatuation. It's about having direction and commitment to the tumbling those rocks, right? So I love how this talks about the meaningful goals and how we created enough meaning in our own health goals. What obstacles do you experience now or foresee in the future that could be in your health goals? Do we have enough passion, direction, and commitment? So I want you guys to pause and think about your past experiences. In what ways have you personally been gritty in your life? Do you guys play a musical instrument? Have you refined a sport? Do you love or excel in education? What about spiritually or vocationally? Are you an artist? Okay, here's one. Are you a parent? Parents have lots of grit. They clean up poopy diapers and vomit and toys. And it takes a lot of grit to become a good parent. So they will sacrifice a lot for their kids. So here's a question to think about. Will people get healthier, not only for themselves, but for their families, for their kids? So let's hone in on our grit meter. One of the questions that first came to me is, how bad do you want to be the healthiest version of you? Why do you want it? Just because others tell you you should, which is outside validation. How much integrity do you have? Meaning, do you break promises to yourself? That's a hard one. Do you give up easily? That's also a hard one. Do you find yourself wanting and choosing instant gratification? So if I offered you guys a grit pill, would you take it? Wouldn't it be nice? What if you had to take it every day? If we combine grit ingredients into a pill, it would consist of 5 things. Okay, ready for this? Determination, resilience, knowing what you wanted with determination and direction, passion, and endurance. Did you know that you can grow willpower just like any other muscle in your body? Practice becomes a habit, and it takes deliberate practice that's really conscious and mindful, okay? It's a mindset game that we're all playing here. So it takes mindful practice. And what are you doing mindfully in your health journey? So grit requires practice and constant feedback to develop specific skills. So maybe you're using a coach to give you feedback. And what skills do you need to gain to be successful with your health? So daily habits that serve you, I want you guys to drop in the chat what habit you're working on right now. What skills do you need to gain to be successful with your health? Is it going to bed at a better time, eating 6 times a day? Like, is it your water? What is it? So here's some more skill examples. Growth mindset instead of fixed mindset, and growth like mindset growth. I feel like those are 2 different things. Understanding emotions and how we process them. Can you guys see this PDF? There are 5 steps to processing emotions. Have you studied that? Do you have it memorized? Do you actually utilize it? Do you have it printed out in your kitchen? Do you teach your children? We refer to it a lot with Optavia. So here's a few more skills. What about decision making or the education to understand nutrition? Like, what about when you get to transition phase? Are you ready for that? What about eating low glycemic veggies or balancing your blood sugars long term? Are you skilled at healthy movement? What does that look like for you? Have you developed the skill of accountability to yourself and to your coach? Are you skilled at utilizing our healthy community and being inspired by others and being a part of something bigger than just yourself? Are you accessing resources that we have? We have so many. Are you consistently setting new goals with focus and clarity? We could be doing this weekly with our coach. So I would love to share a personal example of how I've worked on grit. And some of my earliest memories of developing grit came in my high school years. I tried out for everything: soccer, student body officer, I really wanted to be a part of a team and be something bigger than myself. So I loved volleyball and I didn't make the team. I played club ball for the next year and tried out again, and I didn't make it. I loved gymnastics. I loved being loud. And I thought being a cheerleader would be fun. I didn't make it. I tried again out the next year and I didn't make it. I remember thinking I wanted it way more than these girls who were on the team. And I remember each time I tried out, it was between me and another person. And the girl who made it was usually emotionally neutral. And they said that they didn't really care. And that hurt. I was upset about it. I would have worked harder and I would have had more gratitude. So I say, and you know, what a gift these failures have been for me. It's taught me so much. Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, spoke about developing grit in childhood, sticking with extracurricular activities for several years and how much that played a role in the future of a child's grit. I totally related this to my success, and I haven't had success without major failures, like for reals. Even my coaching journey is full of failures. So it's literally required to fail multiple times in order to create success and grit. So do you guys think that people with grit are perfectionists? We had some chitter chatter in the chat about that. And I'll tell you, it's not possible. So when we spoke earlier about the time that you've shown grit in your personal life, I want you to think of whatever it was that you said in your mind. And what we want to do is take that grit and we want to apply it to developing grit in your health journey. So I want to ask you guys, if you really want to be healthy, what sacrifices are you willing to make? And what are you really bad at when it comes to health? Can you own it and not feel shame about it, but be in that growth mindset? Don't be stuck. And don't let it define your ability to practice and gain a new skill, even though there's going to be possible failure. So what baby step or micro habit can you take with a growth mindset to gain the grit and move beyond this obstacle? The obstacle is a literal way you can overcome and reach your health goals. Where are your weaknesses? Do you guys really truly want optimal health? So I'm going to tell you guys, do you want to know why people quit in general? I'm pretty sure you do. It's a pre-thought. Angela Duckworth says that there is a pre-thought that everything originates from these 4 categories. Okay. 1, I'm bored. Your brain is always going to look for a way to get out of any discomfort. Okay. And it likes nuance. 2nd, the effort isn't worth it to me. 3rd, this isn't important to me. 4th, I can't do this, so I may as well give up. Higher level goals see it through to completion. I want you to remember that. Is your health goal a higher level goal for you? Like, how is it happening within all the categories of your life? How is it affecting things? Are you really mindful of what difference this is going to make for you? It may not be how you look, but how you see. And David Goggins says, if you don't want it super bad, you won't get it and you won't appreciate it. Self-control allows us to wait, even if something is really attractive, maybe even the cookie on the counter. So what are the 4 ways of growing grit? There are 4 things that Angela Duckworth again explains to make up and formulate developing more grit. There's number 1 is practice. Deliberate practice means learning as you go and getting feedback from your experience as well as others. Number 2 is purpose. Purpose is anything you can develop with interest over a long period of time. And that's where I was thinking about what Tara was saying with she said 16,000 hours, but 10,000 hours is, you guys have all heard that quote. It's going to take time for us to get into the grit of a health journey. Number 3 was hope. Does the program and community give you hope? It does for me. Number 4, time. It will take time to become the highest version of you. And it takes time to create a new identity, a new relationship, new awareness of yourself and your thoughts. So the grit scale can be summarized into 1 question. Do I finish what I begin? So I would love to have Tara finish off. I was trying to see the time. With an awesome quote, and I want you to listen to this, and then we'll hear from our sweet friend Diane, who will share her story. So go ahead, Tara, and this is really meaningful, so listen up.
Okay. It's okay if you see my process. I don't mind having an audience when I make mistakes. I don't mind people watching me grow, evolve, learn, and unlearn. The best thing I did for myself was not set that expectation. Anyone who meets me knows that I am authentically finding my enlightenment day by day by day. And even when I think I found it, I have to find it again. It's okay if you see my process. I'm not embarrassed if I fall down. I just don't stay down. It's that process, it's that journey where we connect with others. Don't be afraid to show it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tara. Okay, Diane, we would love to hear your story of how all this applies to you.
Awesome. Thanks. So I have been struggling with my weight my whole life, started dieting way too young, and have been on every diet and tactic that has been imagined. So I could write a book about the tears and the frustrations over the years, but I will, due to time, just skip ahead to about 7 months ago. I was at my heaviest. I'm 52 years old and so discouraged and kind of without hope. I had trouble walking down the stairs because my knees hurt. I had my kids do the running up and down the stairs for me. I have 5 kids, the ages 10 to 19. And not only did I not have the health to be an active part of their life, I started thinking about the future. What about when I had grandkids? Something had to be done. And I felt a little exhausted of all my resources. Because I had tried everything. So I hadn't done gastric bypass. So I started researching gastric bypass surgery. I learned an awful lot, and my wonderful supportive husband was not a fan of this and was not behind me. But for me at the time, it was feeling like my only hope. And during this time of research, I saw a Facebook post Jen had put on, and something struck me in it, and I decided to check out what Jen had to offer. So Jen did. Oh, wow. I don't have in here, but I need to mention that my husband, after my first 20 pounds, hopped on the journey with me, and he's doing awesome. But so Jen did a health assessment with me. And when she asked me if I could dream anything, what would it be? I was like, well, 100 pounds, but that's not really realistic. I told her I'd be happy just to get 40 pounds off. And then without even making it seem like a big deal, she said, oh, you could have 100 pounds off by Christmas. I kind of caught my breath and took a moment to actually imagine such a thing. And I tried to decide if I should believe her and if I should dare to dream that big. I decided to dream big, and I signed up then and there. I started reading the life book. I learned right away that I wasn't a victim of my weight, that I could be the dominant force in my life, and that I could become the person that I wanted to be. I had been given so much hope. I loved the readings. I started re-listening to the Wednesday night meetings while walking. I loved check-ins with my coach and the little gatherings with Optavia friends. So I started a program in March, 6 months ago. And when asked what my why was, I said, oh my goodness, I have so many whys. I don't even know where to start. I could write a book about the whys. And so my coach said, just write them all down, share them with me. So every time I thought of another reason why I needed to get healthier, I would write it on my list. And over time, in my readings, they kept asking what the why was. And I really wanted to find it. And I kept narrowing it down. And I was so excited when I finally came up with my why. And it was this: I don't want to miss out on the rest of my life. I had already missed out on too much already. Since beginning in March, I have lost 62 pounds, and I'm looking forward to continuing the journey and getting the next 38 off, making it 100. And I've also learned from Optavia that health isn't just about food, but also about healthy mind and mindset, and that my journey is not going to end when I weigh 130 pounds. Hopefully my journey is just beginning as I continue to reach towards improving my health forever. As my friends and family started noticing me my weight, they would approach me about what I was doing. And I decided it would be selfish of me not to coach. And I knew coaching was also going to be a great tool for me to stay healthy and reach my goal while also helping others reach theirs. It's been a blessing to hear the excitement and wins of my clients and have them share with me great tips and ideas as well. So I can now run up and down the stairs. I can bike and play with my kids, and I'm looking forward to going skiing with them this winter. I need to mention real quick, a few weeks ago, I was helping with snacks at my daughter's high school soccer game. And from a little way off, I saw this 15-year-old daughter of mine. She motioned to me and it's like, and shouted to one of her teammates and said, "Hey, that's my mom." And that's not something this daughter would have ever done before. And I knew she was proud of me. And I felt a great joy in knowing that I was becoming the mom and the person that I wanted to be. I'm so grateful for Optavia and excited to continue.
Trying to unmute. Diane, it was so powerful. We had to have that pause because your story is amazing and we all have our own stories. And I think it's important that we recognize that this program, blesses lives. So, okay, one sec. I do want to mention to everybody that we have this amazing event in Cancun, Mexico. And you don't have to be a client or a coach, but I'm telling you, it is worth every effort to come. It's November 10th to the 12th. It's a 5-diamond resort with JW Marriott in Cancun. And there's going to be personal and professional development there and vacations, having fun with friends. There's like a discount room rate. It's amazing. So if you have thought about this or you're open to it, definitely reach out to the coach or the person who invited you to here so that you can get details on it. We would love to have you. So next Wednesday's webinar is going to have the topic of creating vision for my life. It's going to be amazing. And thanks for joining. So we have 2 breakout rooms. And I've lost my notes, but I want to invite you to stay on. We have a Coach Explorer if you wanted to know